Hello everybody. I'll start the vid off with my little girl who's got a t-shirt on today because I decided I would give her a haircut. And Amy, come here, Amy. And yeah, a quick flash. I went a bit short. I forgot to put the grade on the clippers, and she basically had clippers right over her back. So she's already had her summer cut and some, and that's why she's got a t-shirt on. I'm out Shakespeare Beach at the moment, west of Dover docks. As you can see, there's a couple of cruise liners in at the moment. I wouldn't want to be on one of them at the moment, especially you start seeing someone sneezing and that. Anyway, that's what the story's about. The story's about something that happened 10, 12 years ago. I was in a van, driving my mate's van, my mate Shane's van, over to Deal from Dover, along the main Deal Dover road, and I had a premonition just as we got to, as we were driving past the crossroads, turning to St Margaret's, which is a village between Dover and Deal. I had a premonition, an awful premonition in fact, and the premonition was that the premonition was that I actually ran someone over, which is, well, an awful premonition to have, obviously. And I said to Shane, I said, I've just had this premonition that I'm going to run someone over on this crossroads. And as it was his van, he turned around and said, "You better not do it in my van," which you can hardly blame him. But anyway, you know, it was all a bit of a joke, and didn't really think no more of it. So anyway, time went on. 2 weeks later, I was in my car, driving back from Deal, and just as I come to the St Margaret's crossroads, I remembered this little premonition I'd had. So the speed limit along there is 50 miles an hour, and because of this premonition I slowed right down. Slowed down to 35, maybe 40, but slowed down significantly because of this premonition I'd had 2 weeks before. Anyway, as I slowed right down, all of a sudden, from out of a bush, two lads come running across in front of me. First one I missed, the second one I hit, which was horrific. So I promptly pulled up. As I've gone running back to this lad's on the roadside, all I see was a lady had pulled up in a car and was attending to him. And when I got to the lad, he was okay. He was in pain. I'd caught the back of his heel and it spun him round, so it looked a bit more dramatic than what it was. And he could limp on his, you know, when we come to it, he could actually still walk to a degree, but with a big limp, you know, and he was bruised. Now, that's a big coincidence that, you know, I'd had a premonition 2 weeks before. But the other part of the story was the lady who actually attended this young lad was my cousin, Maria, who I hadn't seen for maybe 3 or 4 years as she worked away. And she was actually an ambulance driver, which you couldn't have asked for a better person to have witnessed you hitting someone, by accident obviously, and someone to attend that young man. And I say I hadn't seen him for 3, 4, maybe 5 years, whatever, doesn't matter about this. And she turned around and said, "He's all right, Gary." And I was dumbfounded, because not only had I predicted this 2 weeks prior, but I couldn't have had a better person to have turned up on the scene to attend him. Luckily, he didn't need a lot of medical care, and she was quite happy that just to take him home. He didn't really need to go to hospital. He's going to have a sore ankle, bit bruising. So I was so relieved. I mean, hearing that clonk when I hit him and seeing him in the rear view mirror spinning round on the grass verge was horrific, but yeah, I mean, we took him home, and he was in tears. His younger mate was in tears as well, and they wasn't allowed to go out of the village, and we're talking, this is maybe 2 miles out of the main village, so they was actually somewhere they shouldn't have been, so they knew they was in for a bollocking, I think they was more concerned about that than being whacked by the car, but it's the fact that he's going to be found out, and he knew he was going to get a rollicking from his mum, which when we got him there, he got a bollocking, and she was ever so nice. She said, "Look, thank you for bringing him home and dealing with him." And I told her the story, and she was like a bit unsure. She thought maybe, well, as I think maybe you or I would just think, well, it's a bit of an unusual thing to say, but it was true. I had a premonition 2 weeks before. So yeah, I phoned up my mate who was with me when I had this premonition, who I'd told, I said to him, and he said, we laughed it off and didn't really think much of it. But when I phoned him up and told him what had just happened, at first he thought I was just joking, and he went, "Oh yeah." But when he found out that it was true, he was like, freaked out. Well, I was quite freaked out. It was the circumstances were so unusual that not only had I predicted this 2 weeks before on that very crossroads, but my cousin, who's an ambulance driver, had been coming the other way. I mean, I didn't even recognise the car. I hadn't seen her for ages. Didn't know what car she drove. My cousin was there. It couldn't have been a better person to have attended. Seen what had happened. Anyway, the young man, his mother phoned me up a few days later and said thank you very much, and that he was fine. He was I don't think he was allowed out for a month or so, but he was fine. And she said thank you very much. And was there any damage to my car? And I said, yeah, there was a bit of damage. I said, but just the fact that he's fine, and no one had come to harm, hurt feelings, but doesn't matter, does it? Really doesn't matter. And anyway, while I was speaking to her, I actually did say to her about this premonition I'd had, and I kind of think she started to take it on board a bit more, and realised that what I was actually telling the truth, and she said, well, thank God. And yeah, thank God. I mean, I'm not a religious person, I'm an atheist, but thank God. And if I'd hit him at 50 miles an hour, which was the limit along that road, I think it could have come off a lot worse. As I say, done quite, you know, I started to brake before I come to the junction. I was doing about 35, and I just clipped his heel, he nearly made it. But yeah, everyone was okay, and if ever I have one of them again, I might take heed a bit more. It's freaked me out at the time, freaked my mate out at the time. He always calls me a weirdo now, but I bet if I told him something that it was going to happen, I bet he would take heed. Anyway, that's a short little story. It's a true story. That's not the sort of thing that happens to you too often. It's a big coincidences, but I'm so glad it did. We just finished with my little girl, as we usually do, with a new haircut. Okay, have a good day, and I hope you're keeping well. I'll speak to you soon.